I knew I wanted to spend more time with my parents, and I couldn't quite figure out how I could do that logistically without completely sacrificing a lot of other things, my new career, for example. And I realized that if I could be there with them and I was photographing, then I knew that the camera could help me understand this whole situation. I had never planned to even show the photographs to anyone. I was photographing them for me. I needed to understand what was happening. And I also realized that by photographing them, it was almost like they were another one of my assignments from the newspaper. I could look at my parents in the chemo chairs and think what actually happened was I saw them sitting side by side, and I wasn't thinking, there are my parents, dying of cancer, having poison pumped through their bodies. I was thinking, look at that light and look at that composition, and why did my brain go there? But it did, and it helped me. It helped me be there and tell their story and be strong. I wasn't falling apart because I had my camera there to protect me. It actually protected me. My mom had breast cancer on and off for almost 18 years before she died, and it was just sort of part of our life. When my father told us that he had pancreatic cancer, I didn't quite know what to make of this information, especially because the reality then was that here were both of my parents in treatment for cancer and potentially dying at the same time. I didn't know what I was doing. I remember talking to my parents about this, and because I had photographed my mom before, she was comfortable, and actually my dad had asked my mother if I would consider photographing him and telling his story when he was sick. So I had this crazy permission and this crazy access, but that kind of access also comes with, a certain kind of responsibility and emotional weight, because these are my parents. I just wanted to be there. To tell a really good story, you need to spend a lot of time. And it's always the dream of a photographer to be able to spend a lot of time with their subjects. It's not always possible, but you never know what's gonna happen. I almost missed my dad shaving my mom's head. He called me one day and he was telling me his plans for the whole day, and he was like, "Oh, and I'm gonna shave mom's head." And I was like, "Oh shoot, I should be there." And then I realized, he wasn't gonna say to me, "Oh, I have a great photo moment for you. I'm gonna shave mom's head, you should be home." And that made me really realize that I just needed to spend as much time as I could with them. It wasn't until I was a finalist for World Press, when I went to send the raw files in to the jury, I was flipping through them in color because they needed those files, and it was the first time I had seen these images in color since I shot them. And I came across an image of my father in the casket, and I'm sitting alone in my apartment, and I just start bawling. And I'm like, this is so weird, because I have looked at these images so many times. Why am I reacting like this? And then I realized that seeing the color image brought me back to the moment, the real moment that I had photographed it. And it hit me so dramatically that I had a physical reaction to it. And that's when I realized that the black and white and my camera allowed me, really truly was protecting me and allowing me to experience this whole thing, this whole situation in a much stronger way. It was so important to me to be able to support my parents. And if I was a wreck the whole time, how could I be there for them if I can't keep myself together?